Today, in Lesson 4.7, we are going to talk about the thousandths place value. So far, we have been using the base 10 blocks out to the hundredths place value, or out to the flat. Let's take a minute to review our base 10 blocks. Remember, we have the unit, or the little cube, and the symbol for that cube is a square that is shaded in, a small square that is shaded in. The symbol for a rod, or we've been calling it a long, is a straight line. The symbol for the flat is a square that is not shaded. That square is bigger than the square for a cube. The symbol for the 1000 block is now going to be a square, not shaded, with an upside down L. We go across the top and down the right side. These are the symbols that we are going to use to represent our base 10 blocks. Let's talk about the value of these base 10 blocks. Remember that a unit is worth 1. The long is worth 10. The flat is worth 100. And the big cube is worth 1000. The big cube is going to represent the 1 or the whole. So everything is going to be out of 1000. We are going to practice writing some decimals out to the thousands place. We are also going to practice using the base 10 block symbols to represent a number. And we are going to take fractions and turn them into decimals in today's lesson. Please have your whiteboard ready, as you are going to have to show some work for me. Let's take a look at what we're going to do first. All right, we are going to draw these decimals using the base 10 blocks. Let's just take a minute to review those symbols. At the bottom of your screen, I'm going to show you those base 10 blocks once more. We have a little square, which represents a cube. We have a long, which represents 10. We have a flat, which represents 100. And we have the big cube symbol, which represents 1000. Using these symbols, we are going to take some time to draw the following decimals using the base 10 blocks. I'm going to do the first 2 with you. I would like you to try the rest on your own on your whiteboard. Remember, the thousandths cube is representing one whole number. So if we have a number that's in the ones place, which is to the left of the decimal, that means I have one whole cube, or one big cube. Let's take a look at the first one. I have 0 and 34 hundredths. I need to show 34 hundredths. That means I have 30 out of 100. So if I have 30 out of 100, my fraction would be 30 over 100, 30 hundredths. My base 10 blocks would be 3 longs and 4 little cubes. That's 34 hundredths. In the next one, I have 0 and 506 thousandths. I'm going out to the thousandths place value. It says 506 thousandths. So I need to use the flats because those represent the hundreds. And I have 506. So I have 5 flats and 6 little cubes. I'm just going to make dots. It's hard to shade in the little cubes. 6 cubes. So I have 506 thousandths. My fraction would be 506 over 1,000. I'm actually going to do the next one with you. 1 34 hundredths. It says 1 and. The 1 is to the left of the decimal. That tells me I have 1 whole cube. So I have 1 whole cube to represent 1, and I have 34 hundredths. Hundredths, 34. So I need to show 34, which would be 3 longs for 30 and 4 cubes for the ones, 34 hundredths. My fraction, to write it as a fraction, would look like 1 34 over 100. I would like you to try the next 3 on your whiteboard. I want you to use the base 10 blocks to draw the decimal. I also want you to turn that decimal into a fraction, like I did in the 3 above. Show your work on your whiteboard so your teacher can check as he or she walks around the room. Stop the video now and do the next 3 problems. Let's take a look at the 3 problems I asked you to do. The first one is 0 and 5 thousandths. It goes all the way out to the thousandths place value. 5 thousandths. That means I have 5 out of 1,000. So I have 5 little cubes from my base 10 blocks to represent 5 thousandths. The next one is 1 and 953 thousandths. Remember, the 1 is to the left of the decimal. So that means I have 1 whole cube. So I have 1 big cube and 953 thousandths. I need to show 900, so that would be 9 flats. And I need to show 5 longs, which is the 50. And I have 3 cubes. If I were to write that as a fraction, it would be 1 953 over 1,000. The last one I wanted you to do was 0 and 87 hundredths. I need to show 87 out of 1,000. That would be 8 longs and 7 ones. To write that as a fraction, it would be 87 over 1,000. In today's math journal, you are going to be working on Math Journal page 95. You are going to be taking some fractions and turning them into decimals. You may be asked to take a decimal and use it to represent it as base 10 blocks. And you might also be asked to compare decimals greater than, less than, or equal to each other. Make sure you leave your work on your whiteboard for your teacher to check.